Hey guys, what's up? It's Dragoon here, and I am here today with none other than the man himself, Matt from Matt's Mad Lab, who... How long has it been since you've uploaded?
It's been a long time.
I don't have a lot of subscribers to worry about, but I've been moving, and that's taken up all my time.
Totally fine, though, because they know, you know, I know, we're both incredibly busy dudes. Two dudes. Guys being dudes over here. And today, we're going to be talking about an expert and an absolute noob's opinion of this right here. This is the brand new Blu-ray release of Code Geass, Lelouch of the Rebellion by Funimation. You guys already saw me unbox this on the channel. If you haven't, I'll put a link to it in the description below. We just finished the first 2 episodes, and we haven't talked this over at all yet, so everything you see from this dude, and obviously myself, is his complete brand new opinions of this series. So, all in all, first 2 episodes, what do you have to say to start things off?
It's darker than I expected.
What did you expect?
I expected, I don't know, maybe something along the lines of, maybe Naruto, I guess, that
type of age group.
That type of age group, but I didn't expect to see a platoon of soldiers commit suicide right off
in the
bat.
very first episode. So obviously this video is going to contain spoilers for the first 2 episodes of the series, which is not a significant portion of it. So, but if you are worried about it, you have been warned. So yes, at the very end, actually, of the first episode, Lelouch commands a group of soldiers to kill themselves.
Just to die. He didn't even give them a specific way to do it.
It was just die.
Just die. And they were just like, happy to do it. His whole power just reminds me of Kilgrave, without getting off topic too much with Jessica Jones.
Sure, yeah.
Because the same thing would happen. Except it's interesting because Kilgrave was close to the villain, and this guy who's supposed to be the hero is actually more of an anti-hero from what I've seen so far.
Right. And that's actually one of the things I love so much about Code Geass, is that the events that take place with your protagonist are questionable. Lelouch is not your typical hero character. He is, in fact, I would even argue he is not a hero in ways, but I mean, at the end of the day, he is an anti-hero, and that's why I personally like him so much.
At best, he's an anti-hero.
Yeah. So, moving forward from that, you talked about the darker tone of the series, and this series back in the day when it aired on Adult Swim was TV-14. And even if I were to go grab the DVD box sets off my shelf, it says like ages 16 and up. So, and I think that's...
I would agree more 16 than 14.
Yeah. I don't remember ever getting the TV MA rating. I could be wrong, but I don't recall that happening.
Well, I have noticed that besides the mass suicide and some of the just slaughtering of civilians that they show.
Just the slaughtering, no big deal.
A lot of stuff that makes it seem darker is a lot of stuff that happens on off camera that are visual cues, and they don't necessarily show. Like in part of the episode, there was a child cried, and then you hear gunfire and silence. So I mean, you don't see the child die, but anyone who has more than half a brain will know that child's dead. Right.
And then even that one scene in which the older couple is in their home, wall gets broken down, and you see them run, and all you see in the next frame is their blood splattered on the wall. And I think that's a good way of doing it. You're able to convey this serious subject matter without going too far to the extreme.
I also appreciate that the blood and gore isn't gratuitous. It's to a believable amount.
Right. Yeah, it is entirely not overly done. And you'll notice as we continue watching the series, it never does really reach that point as far as I can recall.
I'm nodding like I know, but I have no idea whatsoever.
Yeah, I know. I watched the whole series yesterday, but I'm not going to tell you that. I know. I said we'd watch it 2 weeks ago, but I couldn't wait any longer. I actually bought it already too.
I feel like this one will be more engaging to me as an adult who thinks a lot of thoughtful thoughts.
A lot of thoughtful thoughts. Yeah, and I do agree with you. I think Code Geass is very engaging. A lot of people, whether you like it or not, don't go looking. But a lot of people
No, I won't.
will agree in the sense that it's engaging because this series is 10 years old and people are still talking about it.
I can kind of see the age from the way the animation is. Because if you compare, I feel like if you look at like a new episode from Naruto or something, and then you look at this animation, there is a difference.
Yeah, it's done. Naruto's not a very good comparison unless we're talking about an amazing Naruto and Sasuke fight.
I always go back to Naruto because that's...
You watch it every week.
I watch it every week. I've been watching it for years. I wish it would have ended 2 years ago without all that filler.
Yeah.
So it's still sucking my life away slowly, but I can't give it up. It's like a drug.
Yeah. Well, and you're totally right, though. I mean, the animation styles have changed since 2006. But one thing I think that's great, and it's even highlighted in the Blu-ray releases, is Code Geass animation is still good.
It is.
It's still very fluid and everything looks very good. It still has the very Clamp feel, which some people really like. If you're not familiar with Clamp, they're a group of animators and manga creators and stuff like that work in Japan. I think, if I remember correct, they're all female staff.
Oh, okay.
Their style is very like this.
I mean, just this style of animation reminds me more of like maybe late 90s, early 2000s.
You think so?
Yeah, that's just the vibe I get from it. But something that is a little off-putting about it's not so much the animation, just the overall design, is all the characters seem excessively lanky.
Yeah, see, and that's where I was getting at. Clamp is known for making very lanky characters. I think the term a lot of people use to describe their art is like turnip bodies.
Oh, okay.
So
I can see that.
You can like that or dislike it, but at the end of the day, it's
a little off-putting, but it's not going to ruin the anime.
Yeah,
it's just something I've never seen before.
Yeah, it certainly is in a way unique. But once again, given the sense they do it with a lot of their shows. So what do you think? We touched on it very briefly earlier. What do you think about, even in the very first episode, Lelouch gains his new power? How do you feel about that? You only got to see a very minimal use of that technique, but
I mean, I like it. I do kind of. They give him background. I would like to know more about the Empire and how it came to exist and all this fun jazz. And I'm sure I will. I've only seen the first 2 episodes, so take everything I say with a grain of salt. I really like how they just get right to it. They don't mess around.
They don't beat
around the bush to get to it. Gets his abilities. We don't have to sit through his boring, average, normal life.
No.
Which, judging from the preview of the 3rd episode that I just saw at the end of the 2nd episode, it looks like there might be some school life going on, which can be a little fun on its own, but I don't think they'll delve too much into it, because if they delve too much into it, I won't like it, and I feel like it would hamper the overall quality of the anime. And from what I hear, it's a pretty good anime, so I don't expect too much of his normal life to bleed through into it.
Yeah, and the series jumps right into everything. I mean, by the time you finish the 2nd episode, you've already watched a full-on battle take place. There are not necessarily a lot of shows that throw the viewer right in like that. There's usually some type of build-up before the main character becomes involved in any type of skirmish or any type of conflict.
Yeah.
But this opens right up with it, and I really do appreciate that.
I do as well.
As someone who's seen this series anywhere between 5 or 6 times, there are a number of things I could say that I like about it. And I mean, at the point in which you've seen something as many times as I have, to the point in which you can say, for me personally, I haven't seen anything top this in the last 10 years. What do you think so far about the characters? You've only really been introduced to a couple.
To a couple. The only one I remember is Lelouch, because he has a really different name.
Yeah.
And plus, they didn't give any other characters a lot of names yet.
Yeah, you were introduced into Lelouch and Suzaku, which are main characters.
Green-haired girl doesn't even have a name yet.
She doesn't have a name yet. We're not even going to talk. She's just green-haired girl.
Green-haired.
I think she's had maybe 10 lines max.
Yeah, and
they have that internal.
Yeah, that internal dialogue.
So.
Which, I mean, I knew it was her. I knew she was going to be.
Yeah, he was like, they were like, it's poison gas in the truck, and he's like, no, it's not. It's some girl with green hair. I'm like, dude, no, it's not. It's poison gas.
But that's just a combination of experience from watching a lot of anime and TV in general, along with this anime has been around so long, I haven't been completely immune to seeing things.
Oh, you have been entirely not immune, considering you follow me and I post stuff all the time.
Yeah. So I've seen her, and I've seen enough of her to realize she's an important character.
Yeah,
and she's the
she's on the
centerpiece
cover
of the cover.
So
yeah, I figured she would make an early appearance.
Yeah, and she does.
But honestly, one of my favorite characters right now, and this is a very early assumption, is the one scientist guy.
Lloyd, I knew you would like him the whole time. I'm like, I know Matt's gonna like Lloyd. I know he will.
Lloyd he has a real passion for his work.
Yes, he does.
That.
Yes, he does.
And he's jovial, and I generally like jovial characters.
And you'll be happy to note that Lloyd is not just some character who gets thrown aside. He will continuously come back. He is not somebody who's like introduced in the very beginning and they're like, oh, well, I don't know who he is anymore. I forgot. Look, he's even on the back right there.
I know.
So you guys can see he is important. But I was thinking that the whole time, like, I know he's gonna like him. He's so funny because there are all these serious moments, even in the second episode,
Yeah.
and then Lloyd will pop up on the screen. He's like, "Hey!"
Yeah, I know. And I like characters like that to some extent. Too much of it can get annoying and kind of break the immersion, but it's nice to have a character like that.
He just doesn't care about the tone of what's going on.
No.
He's so
And that's a lot like
delved
me.
into his work. He just wants to show off what he's done. He doesn't even care. He's like, well, we're losing, but hey, I'm here.
But hey, I'm here to have a good time, so yeah.
Honestly, I came here to have a good time. I'm feeling so attacked right now. So we talked about the characters a bit. Talked about the animation. What do you think of the story so far? There's very little you can really say.
There's very
It's 2
little.
episodes.
But so far, from the inklings I've seen, it seems that, especially for Lelouch, he starts off believing, no one has the power to change the world, and they really hammer that point home in the first 2 episodes. And then when he does get his power, at the end of the first episode, he says to himself, I have the power to do this now. I can see it going like one of 2 ways. I feel like it might go the way of this power helps him change the world, but in the end, it was mostly just him.
You think he, even without
Because
the power,
his power
he could've done
doesn't
stuff.
give him the tactical edge he has.
He's incredibly smart.
Like, if he would have just had the radio without that nightmare frame, he still could have led those people to victory.
He could have, yeah. He didn't need the Geass at all.
He only used it once to disable 1 mech. Without that, then it might have been different, but most of that first battle was just him being a tactician, which is not a power granted to him by his magical eye. So I feel like that's the direction it's going to take, but I feel like it could also take another direction that goes more along the lines of, this might go hand in hand with a darker undertone, that everyday people can't change the world, and you need to have some sort of influence to do it, and you have to use your influence that has been granted to you for good and for the betterment of humanity. That would be a more narrow message, I feel, because one talks about if you have this power, you inherit it. The other one talks about you can have power, but you don't necessarily need it.
Yeah, and I think that's actually a really cool understanding of what you think could or could not happen as the series progresses. So obviously only 2 episodes in, there's not a whole lot we can talk about.
But only time will tell.
Right. So all in all, we will have to continue watching. Obviously I won't make you watch the whole series if you decide at some point you don't like it, but I hope you do. And we will, as long as this guy is agreeable, be sure to update you guys as we go along. Kind of it'd be cool to do an entire journey as we progress.
It would be really cool
to see, kind of watch a retrospective of the series. So, do you have any closing remarks that you'd like to state?
I'm looking forward to seeing the next few episodes of this. And like I said, I won't make any sort of final judgment call till after 4 episodes, but I mean, I feel like I'll enjoy it. I mean, if I like Naruto and Yakuza 7 well enough, then I should like this, because
This is a masterpiece.
this is apparently a masterpiece.
It's absolutely a masterpiece.
I mean, I'm sure it is, I just haven't seen it yet.
I don't believe you. Alright guys, let us know what you think in the comments down below. Do not post any spoilers whatsoever, but like we've already said, anything up through episode 2 is fair game to talk about. If you have just picked this up, let me know what you think so far, and if you're a big fan of Code Geass, definitely stay tuned to see what a newbie thinks as the series progresses. And if he quits, well then I'll just beat him up and he'll never be in another video ever again. Alright? So I hope you guys have enjoyed this video. Drop a like on it if you have, and we'll catch you guys next time.
2 guys raw and uncut.
2 guys talking about anime raw.
I really like the name 2 guys raw and uncut.
I am not naming the video 2 guys raw.
I don't really know.
Alright, I'm ready.
Out. Please don't kill me, senpai.